Hello and welcome to day 3 of my 5-day binge restrict cycle episode. So this is built here to help you take some tips and eventually, in the end of this, take action so that you can, the best place possible to start the lift method. So you understand exactly what your triggers are, you know what you're coming into, and then you can really start to put it into action with the lift method. You'll have more tips in the lift method as well. This is just a very basic outline of what it could look like to be a part of the lift method. One simple little slip up shouldn't be the determining factor if you failed or if you've made a loss that week, essentially. But it always is within the binge restrict cycle, and I know how tough that is to be in that cycle and to feel like a failure all the time. So what we basically want to do to combat that, to stop that cycle like developing and happening, is catch the thought. So the first thing you've got is the thought in the thought process. So like it could be something like, oh screw it, I'll just have 2, turns into 3 and then 4 and then 5, and then before you know it, the whole packet's gone. The thought is then led into the emotion, so that is the next kind of trigger, which could be stress, boredom, tiredness, like we spoke about in the first video. If you haven't watched that, go and watch it and that will make sense. And then it goes into that same behavioural loop. So you're just like constantly going around like a washing machine when it's on that really slow tugging motion. It just feels like this, oh god, this depressing place to be. So what we want to do is catch that thought process. We need to stop to catch the root of it. It's like, you know, a tomato plant, for example, and the reason why I'm saying that is I've got Timmy outside who I've just reminded myself of I need to water, but that seed of my tomato plant Timmy, he won't sprout out into a beautiful tomato for me. He won't provide me with loads of beautiful whole food tomatoes freshly grown out of the floor, or out the pot, tomatoes, if he doesn't have the starting point. And it's the same here. You're not going to quit the binge restrict cycle, you're not going to leave it behind if you don't catch the thought process. So the shift you want to make is saying to yourself, it's not the food that is the issue, it's simply the story you tell yourself after it. Which some people will say is like an excuse, but I don't see it as an excuse. I just see it as you trying to make yourself feel better by giving it a reason. I wouldn't say it's an excuse in this matter, but it's a reason. You know, oh, I ate all those cookies because I was really stressed, because my boss told me off, and you know, it's almost actually passing the blame onto somebody else as to why that happened, but all you're doing in that moment is trying to make yourself feel better for doing so. And if you are that person, like, please don't stress, I was as well, and you can again escape that. So in that moment, literally all you want to do is reframe your thoughts. Easier said than done, I know, but this is something that I do go into in week 2 of the lift method, and I tell you exactly what you need to do to sort of get into that routine. I talked to you about routine in your video. I do you a video like this, and then you go into the next kind of week with the tools that I give you, with the practice that I give you, and the accountability that I also give you. So not only you just knowing what to do, you are actually doing it, which are 2 very different things, because if you're watching this video, you will be struggling to probably do both. So one example of like a reframing tool for your mindset could be, I had a slip up, it's not going to determine the rest of my day. You know, so you're reframing it into something like, I had a moment, not a meltdown. I had a bad morning, not a bad day. And when I tell you, this really excites me, because I cannot tell you the positive impact it doesn't just have on your fat loss or your weight loss, but your life. I cannot tell you. If someone says something to you at work that hurts you, upsets you, you don't resort to the cupboard and binge and feel worse about yourself, so you've got 2 reasons to feel bad about yourself, you pinch it straight away, because you've got the tools and the mindset and the confidence to do so. You know exactly what works for you, and you do it. And I cannot tell you how life-changing it is. Like, genuinely, I cannot. It makes you a stronger person, a more empowered person. You're more inspiring to be around, because people are like, what? She just spoke to you like that, and you didn't let it bother you at all. I'm so confused. How have you done that? You know, I promise you now, that is a compliment that I've had since quitting the binge restrict cycle, and that is why I used it. I cannot tell you how life-changing it is. So in order to do that, so the thing you're going to do to actually do it, so this is just one example I'm going to give you, and in the lift method I'll give you way more obviously, but the example you could do is that when you have that thought process is to write it down in the notes on your phone. Write down exactly what you just thought. So like the negative one, write that down and reframe it. So you're training your brain to actually reframe those words to think differently. Then step 2 of that is say it. Every day when you have that moment, write it down and say the new one out loud. With time and consistency, you'll find yourself saying the new reframed thought rather than the old one, which is just amazing. So if you're struggling to not eat the whole packet and just have 1 or 2, the thing that you need to work on is the thought. Catch that thought, because remember, if you catch it, it won't grow. If you don't catch it, it's going to grow. And in this case, we don't want it to grow. In this case, with Timmy, my tomato plant, we don't want tomatoes in this case. Remember, if you really want to quit this cycle, then the lift method is where you need to be. If you haven't already, the early bird link is in the bio. I'll come back tomorrow for day 4 and I will talk to you about the next topic, which is talking about willpower and motivation, which I know many of you struggle with. So anyway, I will see you tomorrow in the next video at 6 p.m. Bye.